Oh.
Oh, hello.
I'm back, baby.
Wait, Justin, say something again. I just want to make sure.
How's this? Is this good?
Oh, is
Hello.
he saying anything? I don't hear him.
I am saying stuff.
What the hell? Now I just can't hear him. What the?
Let's say fuck it, dude. You know,
Yeah.
let's do this
Okay.
thing.
3, 2,
Action.
1, go. Okay, hi. My name is Justin, and welcome to episode 1 of the Monster Cast. I'm your host of said name. I run the horror blog Beatles and Ghouls, and I'm a 2-year scare actor, and I've been generally in and following this industry for a long time now, actually. And these are my other two guests. If you guys want to introduce each other.
Nick, you got to go first this time.
I'll go first. I'm Nick. You might know me as the runner, the leader, the owner of the In the Parks social media Instagram account, YouTube, and Twitter that I don't really use anymore. And I hope that I'm connected to this call because we've had an endless amount of technical difficulties on this first episode, as expected.
Yes, we have Discord. Craig has betrayed us.
Yeah, Craig has betrayed us. We're on our phone. I would just like to confirm, I am connected to this call, right? It does say I'm here.
Yes, you are connected to this call.
That
you are
is
Nicholas.
the best thing that
I'm sorry, Dave, but I'm afraid I can't do that.
Jimmy, do you want to, or Bimmy, do you want to?
Yeah, Bimmy.
Yeah.
My name's not Jimmy, by the way. I did legally change it to Bimmy a couple weeks ago.
If anyone's named Jimmy, you
and
suck.
So
you suck.
Yeah, I am the Bimmy.
We can't
baby.
discriminate our Jimmies, don't you know?
Yeah,
all of our fans are named Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm Bimmy. Like, I am the Bimmy baby of the very, very, very popular Instagram account, Bimmy_baby.
Wow.
I thought it's the best name.
Let it be known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just started getting into the horror industry, but I think it's honestly one of the funnest things in my life right now.
Yeah, it's one of the funnest things in his life.
His lives. Yeah, his multiple lives.
His multiple lives.
Multiple lives.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to his country singer life, his
yes.
His track and field life, his extensive
career.
His extensive
the dumbest sport. No offense to people who do track and field. I think you guys are fucking awesome, but
somebody's gonna be listening to this while they're practicing for track, and you just offended them.
Yeah.
First, before we start, we'd like to apologize for anyone that is currently running track or has the name Jimmy, because we have
disclaimer.
Disclaimer: you're cool if your name is Jimmy, all right? That was a lie that I said earlier.
Yeah, you fucking suck, but you're also cool.
Yeah. Well, good balance. You have to balance the two.
Yeah. You gotta have your yin and your yang.
You could suck, and you could also be awesome.
Yeah.
That's what's cool. That's what's cool about this podcast. All right.
Except for pedophiles, we will kill you in a very, very bad way.
Yeah.
Okay. Any housekeeping or get out of the way before we begin?
Did you ever go through the Shining Maze in 2017? Oh!
I've never
been
through a haunt maze before.
Whoa!
Yeah, this boy is still fresh. You guys get to watch his character development.
Woo!
Here's something we've never done before: a haunt podcast with someone who's never been to a haunt before. Yeah, you guys get to watch them grow.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of developing, I am a 1-month-old fetus, so I am also developing in that way too.
I'm just saying now.
Yeah, no, we found a way to, we don't got to go into detail, but we found a way to give him a microphone. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Very painful for mommy. All right.
Or daddy, we don't discriminate here.
Okay. Dude, let's just jump straight into this.
We're just gonna bum rush right into this. So, okay, so how this is gonna work, or this episode in particular, is every 5 episodes or so, we're doing a little thing. If you follow our social media, called the Make a Monster Cast, How this works is basically let you guys bring an episode to life where we throw out all our different shows and topics and, just kind of throw stuff at a dartboard, and we hold a bunch of polls and we let you guys figure out what do you want to see for this particular episode. And we don't vote on them. We don't vote on them. It's all up to what you guys want to hear, what you want to see. So, in this episode in particular, you guys chose the main attraction, Midnight Marathon, and Haunt News Live on Channel 666. And we're going to start with the main attraction, which this is mainly for, what different haunts and theme parks and what they're doing for the seasons, or just general attraction news. But obviously, in this particular time, we're still going through, the thing that you guys don't want to hear about. So
the Backstreet Boys reunion.
The Backstreet Boys reunion tour. We're stealing jokes now, guys. We're so original.
Yeah, but I think that's the funniest.
Okay,
the
so
infamous destruction of 2020. That's the Backstreet Boys are obviously very
reunion tour. So what I want to talk about is how different attractions or little home haunts and stuff are kind of managing during this time. And what I want to start with is probably one of the elephants in the room, at least in SoCal, is a Knott's Taste of Halloween, which, if we don't know what a Taste of event is, to pretty much as an excuse to open up the park again and still make the normal revenue. Knott's Berry Farm is hosting these different taste ofs for the seasons where they just close the rides, they open up all the shops and the restaurants, all the good stuff, and then you get a free tasting ticket whenever you buy a ticket, which lets you do. You get 5 food items?
Something like that. I don't entirely remember.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 food items or so. But in particular, they wanted to give something to fans of Scary Farm, scare actors for the farm, and just people that like Spooky Farm or just the event in general. And they held one called Taste of Halloween, where they just kind of laid out all of the Scary Farm decorations and so forth, and they just have a bunch of fall seasonal items, and they continue their series of tribute pins that they do every year now, and so forth. And do you want to go into detail on that a little bit?
Yeah,
Nick?
I will. So I know you went twice. I went one time, so I might not be exactly as experienced and well versed here. And Bimmy did not get the chance to go to this, so
he did not.
We'll be filling him in here on any of the details. I'll start with I'll go through like one high and low, and one high that I just actually, we get the low out of the way. In my opinion, I'm kind of so I'm a compromised boy over here. So I'm kind of like I'm one of the people that's like extra safe about it. I would have been optimal if the attendance was a little lower. Yeah. And then again, that being said, I should take the responsibility that I did go on like a Friday or something. And I really should have gone.
Oh no, I can vouch. I went on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and it was still just as messy.
It would have been perfect if it was just a little lower in attendance. Not just
if it was like Taste of Knott's. Taste of Knott's had the perfect attendance.
Right. Yeah, I should have checked that out. I did not check that out.
Yeah, it was just right. Not too many people, and it was very spaced out.
Shoot.
Did they have rides there?
No.
No, the rides were closed. It's just restaurants and the gift shops and such. And they still held their Into the Fog, their art exhibit, where people could go and check out and buy a bunch of prints made by people, including a good friend of mine, Ben, or you guys know him as Skyway to Yesterland. He made a Rolly Crump piece out of all the different Scary Farm monsters, and it was really cool.
That's cool. I didn't know.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it, and just a lot of good artists there, and just
no, that's for sure. It's a great showcase,
Yeah, but the elephant in the room with this particular taste of is they had a trail, a little trick or treat trail during Camp Snoopy, where it was for kids. You could take them go trick or treating and stuff. But for the adults or the people that were there for Scary Farm, they laid out and plastered out a ton of old and new Scary Farm decorations throughout the trail, and like ambiance and stuff like that for people to check out. Like they had that giant rock golem and so
that
forth.
Was the high I wanted to talk about. Was that specific trail was just absolutely the best part.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. And then of course during nighttime they threw out all of the ghost town
Mhm.
streets,
Oh,
all
yeah.
the cobwebs and the fog and the lighting, and it just became ghost town alive without the
Mhm.
monsters. And it was really nice to be in that general
Yeah,
environment and
that's
be in that
as well
fog.
as the trail specifically, and just I think one of the best things about it was just being in a theme park again. It was just so
Oh yeah, just that feeling of that
right.
home
The
feeling.
food is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Not the best. I've heard that it looks like the
I
Mary
think
Farm.
I think Taste of Knott's and Mary Farm
Yeah,
had the best original
that's
food.
the. I agree. I agree there.
Yeah, Mary Farm, not Mary Farm. Halloween had some pretty okay
Yeah.
stuff, but they could have had some
It's a lot
better
of
options.
charred stuff for some reason. Very
Yeah,
burnt foods. Not to say it was bad. It was
I'll,
good actually. I heard.
but at least on the bright side, you could still buy the normal Knott's
Yeah,
food though.
right. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But what I want to talk about is there is if you guys know kind of like an In Park, which is a general band, Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies, they wrote an original piece. It was 2016, 2017 for the Log Ride when they made a brand new version of the Log Ride called the Halloween Hootenanny, and that saw they had the band inside that ride playing the song on the trail. The only reason I bring that up is because I still think it is one of the catchiest theme park songs ever
I
written.
gotta listen to that later.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. It's catchy. It's cute. It's like really cheesy, but it has a nice like kind of trailing down the spooky river vibe to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice. So, any thoughts on that, or anything you guys
Yeah,
want to talk about? Any personal
I had
stories?
one thought. You said that there was a elephant in the room, and I wanted to know where this elephant
Yeah, I
is.
don't see it.
Oh well, they got rid of this elephant during Uncle Bobo.
I really wanted to pet that elephant. I just
Well,
hope there was
I mean, it was just an elephant's ass. So by all means, if you still want to pet it, only only a select few are gonna know what I'm
See that?
talking
You
about.
know,
no.
They had a maze called Uncle Bobo's Big Top of the Bazaar around the first couple of years that I went to the Scary Farm,
Uh,
and they had one room where they had a bunch of circus peanuts, but it was just gallons of elephant poop and an elephant butt that would shoot compressed air at
that's
you
oh,
because we're not Scary Farm,
that's
we're
awesome.
classy, don't you know? Thing next on our list is there's actually, believe it or not, there was a sort of theme park. I can say it's a theme park because there's a portion that is a park. There is a haunt in SoCal that did manage to pull off a walkthrough maze somehow. And I'm sure there's others, but this is just the one that
That
I
could
went
be
to
impossible.
personally. Is if you guys are familiar with Castle Park down in Riverside County,
oh
they held a little version of Castle Dark, where all it was just Halloween music and decorations scattered around, and you get a free game of mini golf and some carnival games. But the main attraction was
The main
they opened a
attraction.
Trail of Terror, which
Main
yeah, the
attraction.
main attraction.
yeah,
There it
many
goes.
trucks.
He said it.
He said the thing.
Yeah,
He
and
said the
he said
thing.
the thing, and he, they opened up what they call the Trail of Terror, where it was pretty much just three of their haunted houses from last year, if I'm not mistaken, kind of mixed into one trail. That was some of it was a little bit kind of indoors, but for the most part, it was spaced out outdoors, kind of like those outdoor sets that would be in mazes like Special Ops Infected at Scary Farm. But they managed to pull off a walkthrough maze that was socially distant and apart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to see that there was still one of them able to pull it off, and I feel like that might drastically help how Hops can manage next year if we're still in this mess by next year.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty much all there is to say about it. That's just a personal thing that I went to that was really nice, and you also got a free meal or snack with it, which their food's pretty good. They have good hot dogs. We'll give them that.
Oh man, I want a hot dog.
Top tier.
Yeah, I can go for a hot
I
dog.
want a corn
Yeah, they
dog,
got
dude.
they
That's
got good
what I
hot
should go
dogs. It's
for.
good
Either a
shit.
corn dog or a hot dog. You're right,
Yeah.
dude. This is
I haven't had a corn dog in so long,
either.
like years.
I my go-to meal whenever I go to Scary Farm is always I go to the right by the exit of Dark Ride is the corn dog place right there, strictly on a stick, and I always get the corn dog with the fries, and that's my go-to Scary Farm meal,
Dude, can
and
we?
it never
Fries.
Yo,
disappoints.
so we're doing something tomorrow. Can we go get corn dogs? I want a
Do it.
fucking corn dog.
Get a corn dog.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting corn dogs,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Moving on.
Just-
Moving on to
Yeah, take a peek at episode 2 where you go to grab some corn dogs,
episode 2. We just talked
and
about
that's
corn
all we
dogs.
do.
I can only eat corn dogs when I'm in the specific mood, Because if I'm not in the mood, then they're too like
Dude,
rich.
I'm so in the mood for corn dogs.
Well, what do you think about corn
Yeah.
dogs? Rich?
All right. Let's get back to Castle Park.
You
You
don't want to talk about corn dogs
Let's save it for next episode.
for the corn dog
Yeah.
special, the 2-hour-long corn
5
dog
hours.
special.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm down.
The next thing I want to talk about is just kind of a lot of houses and stuff, and there's still, basically, long story short, there's a lot of houses in this general area that still found a way to run home haunts.
No.
Delos Muertos one themed here in
Really?
Orange that I think you can find on Midsummer Scream's page. There was, I remember seeing a home haunt someone made that was dedicated to Waxworks
Whoa.
from Not Scary Farm.
I've been following a lot of like haunt Instagrams recently, and I saw one called Santa Ana Haunts.
I heard of
Oh
it.
yeah, I know them. Their haunt's pretty legit. Their setup. Did you guys check out any special like decorated houses or home haunts or anything like that during the season?
Dude, wait, really quick, shout out to everyone who's ever made like one of those tiny haunts in like their driveway just made out of black tarp. Shout out to everyone
dude.
who's ever done that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Those
That
those
takes a
are
lot
the
to
fun.
manage, especially when the
Yeah.
high winds come in.
I was what?
Well, I was just gonna say I wasn't able to visit any other haunts, but I put on a bit of a theme this year. Well, last year I put on a theme as well, and we kind of go all out. Next year I'm planning maybe to do like a mini maze kind of thing. Hopefully, yeah.
You should.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm
this year
down.
we did last year we did the Haunted Mansion theme, and it went really well because the Haunted Mansion turned 50.
Oh yeah, I wish I went to that.
I was out there as a hitchhiking ghost. It was pretty fun. I scared a lot of people. I did like a scary version of it. Like, you know how Universal Monsters turn like the monsters that were otherwise not that scary into something terrifying.
I mean, I guess you can.
Yeah, that maze was beautiful in the sense that it made like obviously us more into it fans knew exactly what it was going to be, but like more general fans that just came for like the first time or so they went into that thinking like, oh, it's just the classic monsters, it's not can't be that bad, and I would see them come out crying like it was intense.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's I think in my opinion it's the best Hollywood Horror Nights maze ever done.
Are we talking about like the video you showed me, that maze?
That was Florida's. I'll just show you Hollywood's.
Send it to me later.
Anyway, yeah. So this year I did.
Yeah, Hollywood's was incredible
because Psycho turns 50, and there was no one out compared to last year. And I put so much work into this yard display, and no one saw it. But you know what? I saw it, and I was happy with it. I had a projection show.
You know what? You did it for you. You did it for you.
About maybe doing like part of the maze, like I don't know. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm already thinking about it. But
we should make a Christmas haunt maze.
There's already a couple of those, but we're gonna save those for a future episode as well.
Can we go to one of those?
Oh yeah, for sure. I can try to find some that are out.
I'm very busy.
Yeah, there's still a few. Not as many as say last year. Last year that was a really popular trend, but this year, obviously, because of the Backstreet Boys, there's not as many.
The Backstreet Boys aren't there, I guess, too.
Okay.
Or Jack the Clown is a Backstreet Boy. Let it be known.
I want to see that.
Here on the record.
Yes.
Slap that on a t-shirt.
Demented clowns dressed up as the Backstreet Boys, terrorizing communities.
Nick, I feel like
2020.
I feel like you can do a really good Beetlejuice impression.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. What's a line? Give me a line from the movie. I'll see if I can.
Yeah.
Say nice fucking model.
Well, I'm doing. I have to make it family friendly here because if I want to make a career with Disney, I don't want them to clone my rear end.
Oh yeah, we got Mr. Disney boy.
There's always that.
He wants to work for the
Justin,
mouse.
You're a big fan. Can you come up with a line for him?
Maybe you can save that for later on. This, PSA, you'll never hear it. So if you came here for his voice, you can just kind of click out and okay, there you go. You got your money's worth.
Dude, what's been happening in LA recently?
Oh, well, on top of that, I want to talk about that too. It's not really new, but it's new to being popular, sort of hot this year. Is a little brand called the Drive-Thru Hot.
Oh yeah.
Which how it works is they just set up these massive sets, or they just kind of do like their normal haunt, but they space it out enough for instead of you walking around, you drive your car through it, and they go and they mess with your car
They mess
and
with your car.
so on. But I think the
take
big
hold of your car and crash it.
Yeah, no, they literally
They
dismantle it
take
like
the
a
wheels
Lego
off
and they
of
let
your
you put
car
it back
and then
together.
get control of it and smash it into the vehicle in front of you.
Rest in peace, Jeep owners.
And then if you're in the front row, they just smash into that giant screen that was there.
Yeah.
And you have to pay for the damage.
Yeah.
It's not the actor's fault.
So in my personal opinion, the best one that I've seen this year has to go to Scream and Stream down in Florida. But I think the most popular one that was kind of talked about the most, besides the one that's still going on, the Stranger Things drive-through, which is sold out pretty much
I want to
completely.
go to that one so bad.
Are you guys going? Because I got tickets to it. I
Did
can
what?
talk about it on the next episode.
I was not able to get a ticket because they went out way too quick.
How
I want to
much
go,
tickets do you have?
but
just one day, just for me. I'm looking forward
to it. Can you invite
Is
us
it per
in a
person
car?
or is it per car?
Is it per car?
I don't really remember. We got them a while.
Actually, no. If I remember correctly,
yeah.
it's per person. Okay, so anyways, on top of that one, the one that was talked about probably the most is LA Haunted Hayride opened up. They just did their hayride, except they made it with you driving your car instead of on the actual hayride. So yeah, they just did their normal haunt routine, but they let you drive through with your car, and they have their whole, they have their whole main icon. They have their own little icon there. I'm probably saying it as like a Monty Revolta. Something like that. Haven't gone in a long time. I know they have a whole thing going on, like a whole kind of story going on now, but I wasn't able to catch that this year either. But from what I've heard and from what I've seen, it looked really good.
Did you laugh?
Yeah. We're doing such a professional episode.
I mean, I guess it's supposed to how it goes, We're humans, but not robots.
Yeah.
Craig.
Craig.
Hey, leave him alone. He's working on his tax return.
Is that why he kept leaving?
Nobody likes you, Craig. Okay. All right.
So there's a couple of good ones. Me and Bimmy over here worked for Urban Legends down in Costa Mesa.
Yeah. I wonder.
And we can't really say much about that other than we worked for it.
I'm about to say so much about it. Just you saved me. We'll save that for another episode. We won't really. That's never going on air.
Okay.
But
no, it was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah. But if someone happens to DM me about it, I don't know.
We're gonna cut
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not saying shit. It's all private. But yeah. Shout out to Urban Legends. Like some of the friendliest people I've ever known.
Okay, we can address the review. Started off really kind of mixed, but I feel like as it went through, they did start getting better and better. We did it did really need to just find its bearings. This is a brand new haunt. There's never been a haunt in that area before. So I think for a first year, almost every haunt's had a really rough first year. That's just tradition.
Yeah. Plus, Justin, you know what Haley did on the last night? Dude, she broke a car window on the last night. One of our cars. No, not one of the real cars. We had a prop car.
Not a customer's cars. No, we have prop cars that we can destroy and stuff.
I saw her get to break a window. It was cool. Shout out to Haley.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so, is there anything special about any drive-through haunts that we want to go into detail about or talk about?
Nick, once you go to that Stranger
Mm.
Things one, you got to tell us all about
I
it
will.
because I love
I
Stranger
totally will.
Things.
Yeah, I'll let you know everything about it.
Yeah, I've seen
It
some
looks
stuff
cool.
about it. It
I'm
looks
actually really
beautiful.
excited to do
Oh
it.
yeah, I love the lighting
Yeah,
in the pictures I've seen.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm excited.
and speaking of Stranger Things, or I guess we can mesh this in with our next topic is the biggest one, the biggest Halloween event of all of them this year is if you live down over down in Florida, their Universal Studios in Florida, they did Halloween Horror Nights Light is the unofficial kind of fan name given to it. Which all they did is they opened up three of their three haunted houses planned for next year. Well, it was at two at first, but then for the final weekend they opened up a third one just out of nowhere.
What houses were
And
they?
they opened up Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. They reopened, or not reopened. They opened up Universal Monsters: The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. And then the one that everybody was excited for, waiting for, which is honestly, in my opinion, one of not the best movie houses Universal has done, is Tim Burton's
Justin,
Beetlejuice.
you are such a fanboy.
No, genuinely, like I think the only one that I would say could beat it, besides, the only two that could beat it are Poltergeist and An American Werewolf in London. Because I don't think anything could ever top Werewolf in London, in my opinion.
I've heard it's really good. It came back twice, right?
I've seen a walkthrough of
Yeah, they're all
American
incredible. Yeah, Werewolf in London, it came back twice.
Dude,
It was
I gotta
once
see
in
that movie.
2013 and then 2015. It's a good movie. It's on HBO
yeah,
Max.
It's on my watch list, actually. HBO Max, dude, it's so good. It's so good. If you don't have HBO Max, like, we're not sponsored. But wow, HBO, like, it's kind of up there.
I gotta get HBO
Honestly,
Max.
it's kind of
This episode is sponsored by HBO Max.
No, it's not.
Subscribe to HBO Max now.
No, it's not. Don't listen to John.
No, we're not.
HBO Max. If you did want to,
unless you did.
If anyone wanted to,
HBO Max is about to sponsor our stupid haunt pod. Okay, anyway.
Anyways, they opened up those three houses with social distancing guidelines. Like they had like plexiglass for some of the scare actors, although it was honestly pretty hard to tell. And then if the characters didn't have latex masks, like if the face mask had latex masks, they gave them just normal face masks that fit the costumes. So like for, I guess the best example is for Beetlejuice, they have, or I guess spoilers if you're trying to wait till next year to see this, because it will be back next year. The whole point of Beetlejuice opening for a weekend was so that way they could keep the contract specifically to open it next year. Yeah, because if they wanted to keep the contract to have it, they needed to open it for at least a weekend. So they just opened it for the last weekend so that way they could keep the maze for next year, because I guess that's like one of their main attractions, like how Ghostbusters was last year. And a movie, I'm sure it took a lot to get a Tim Burton movie, to get the rights to a movie like that, and a movie that Warner Brothers is pretty protective of. So I doubt they're gonna want to. I doubt they're gonna want to give that kind of property up,
because they had that haunt going on. They continually said that like Poltergeist was going to be the last Warner Brothers maze from them.
Yeah, they try to make that very clear, and then obviously, surprise, it didn't do very well. So they just kind of slowly walked back to Universal's door.
Clip of Bart walking into the classroom.
Dude, Universal, they're the kings of haunts.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you know Universal, you know they pretty much created the Universal movie monster genre.
Oh yeah, dude, they created it.
To be fair, though, Knott's did. Knott's was the first. Yeah.
Knott's did start the Halloween haunt, though. So you got to give Knott's credit where it's
due. What was Knott's first maze?
The Knott's, honestly, I don't think they're the best. I know this has nothing to do with the three mazes, but like, whatever. This is yeah.
Well, we're talking about haunts. We can just kind of go into it.
I continually say this. My brother and I always agree on this, and I'm going to mention my brother a little later on, just for a second. But Knott's honestly deserves more credit as kind of the groundbreaker theme park, because I mean, not only were they the first theme park, number one. They created the first full-scale, like, big set dark ride before Pirates, and the only thing that maybe was
Wait,
similar
what ride is
was
that?
maybe the Fantasyland dark rides. But if it wasn't for Calico Mine Train with these giant sets and
Oh yeah.
which is before Pirates.
Yeah, Calico Mine Train, and
Hey, wait.
let's not forget that it's probably what people think, because a lot of I always hear whenever walking around the parks, a lot of people saying like, "Oh, this is just Knott's response to Splash Mountain." It's actually the other way around. Knott's made the log ride first, and then Splash Mountain came. I think almost 2 decades later.
Can I add something really quick? In Calico Mine Train, you know that part where like you're on like the ledge and it looks like it's going very deep down?
Yeah.
Is that like a mirror trick or is it like that deep?
No, the set's just
oh my
that
god.
deep.
Yeah, dude, I was like that genuinely kind of freaks me out whenever I go on it. I'm like so afraid of heights.
It's a legitimately just a great ride, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, especially with like the
I remember back in the day they used to actually theme theme that ride for Scary Farm. Like they had like a witch's cave, but they don't do that anymore. The only ride that they theme, as far as I know, is the log ride. And then I guess you can count the Halloween lights on Hang Time.
I was gonna say another thing I love about Calico Mine Train is the smells.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it smells, especially at the end of the ride when everything's blowing up and they blast that fog at you.
Like a mine.
It's the titular Scary Farm fog.
All right, let's get back to let's fly back to Florida.
On top of the three houses, they also opened up their tribute store, which is a tradition every year, which is this massive theme store to theme to different elements and different things that are going to be at the event that year. So this year in particular, they had a room themed to Universal Monsters, I believe was the first room, Frankenstein's Lab. And then the second room was themed to the icons, mainly Jack the Clown, a bunch of carnival setups and stuff. And the third room was, they usually do at least one movie room a year, was of course Beetlejuice.
Nice.
It just had a really nice theme with a bunch of Beetlejuice sets, and it was really pretty. And just that's where they sell the merchandise and stuff. Like they had a bunch of really cool shirts and a bunch of throwback merchandise where they sold a ton of old designs and such. And the last thing they did was they held, I think it was called Scarecrow Trail. I'd have to be corrected on that. Where they hit a bunch of scarecrows in the different gift shops around the park, and it was a trick or treating trail, like a scavenger hunt. You would go and find these different scarecrows, and there'd be candy there for your kids to grab. And they would let people wear their costumes in the park during the day, and it was just a cute little thing. And I think it was also a test to have daytime activities for Universal for Halloween instead of just Horror Nights. Is what I think personally. And also the houses were kind of as a test to see if we still have all these guidelines by next year, can these houses still be there? Can they still work?
There's a lot of people.
Yeah. In my personal opinion, I think Beetlejuice and Monsters are for sure coming back, and Tooth Fairy is a maybe.
I was just saying, it's very likely that the different rules and things will still be around, because even if we do have a vaccine, there are a lot of people that will refuse to get it, and it's only right, even if they're wrong, that we are.
I think at the very least, I think plexiglass will be. I think plexiglass will be gone. But I think masks and reservations and distancing will still be required.
Even if the vaccine is like massively produced throughout the world, I think masks are still going to be a normal thing.
I hope so.
For like 1 or 2 years.
At least until probably 2022, 23. It's going to take a while. Even if they were to lift the restriction next year, there's still going to be a whole lot of people that are going to feel
comfortable in masks.
More. It's going to take a while to adjust to
which is good.
It's take a while to adjust to going back.
This whole Halloween Horror Nights outbreak, dude, like, it was a game changer.
Jack the Clown, Backstreet Boys.
Honestly, HHN Light really. HHN. I mean, I know you're making the joke, but I genuinely think HHN Light is was a really good groundbreaking event to kind of shift how haunts are going to go for a little bit. It was a really good example of how they can still make stuff like that work. And they still managed to pull off their really grand sets and all kinds of craziness.
I want to mention about HHN Light before we move on topics. For the first time that I've seen in videos, an HHN Orlando maze had a black wall section in the Beetlejuice maze. And I screamed. There was a black wall section.
What's the black wall?
I think that is. Okay. I don't think that's permanent. I think that's just because they honestly did rush. Oh, they did rush open this house. I don't think the house is finished. I think there's going to be a lot more to it.
What's the black wall section?
Ooh, we have a lot to learn.
Just a room with all dark wall, which I guess again, spoilers again, is the final room. No, with the sandworm.
That has a little transition area that's black.
Oh no, that was just a darkish. That was just a darkish room. That wasn't a black wall room. It's just the sets were dark. The only black wall room was the room with the sandworm, which I think, but I think by the way that it's set up, is that scene is meant to be where they're standing in front of the fire where the priest is. I think it's going to be like just another scene of the house. With the scene where the sandworm dives in to go eat Beetlejuice. I think it's supposed to be that.
I would love to see the sandworm dive towards the guests.
It actually kind of does a little bit.
Showing the sandworm, right? I saw one video.
Yeah, there's only one that shows the sandworm.
Either. It's only for like a quick second.
Yeah, well, until next year, we'll get much better videos next year. And I could tell literally the fact that they were putting up the mural 2 days before they opened it. Yeah. They did kind of rush open the house, so I'm sure they're going to take this time now to actually work on it more and more, and bring it back to normal and add more scenes and stuff. I did like though, which this is one thing I really wanted. I do like that the walkout music is jumping the line. I do appreciate that. Great detail. Because I like when they have like just a good feel songs to end the maze. It's like Ghostbusters. They ended it with the Ghostbusters theme, and that was nice. I'm just excited to see if they come back next year. I'm sure they will. I think when it comes down to the full lineup, the maze that everybody knows isn't coming back, unfortunately, is the Billie Eilish original.
So fucking.
Because I think the whole thing was because she's changing up her sort of theme or aesthetic. So I'm sure when she did that, her license holders were probably like, "This isn't going to work anymore. Just trash it." Sadly.
Would have been original.
It would have been cool to see. But I'm curious what's going to replace it. If they're just going to do another original, if they're going to do another IP. I think technically now they could do Stranger Things 4 because now the reason they weren't going to do it this year is because it wouldn't align with the release of the season, but next year it will.
I know a lot
so I'm wondering if they would just go and do Stranger Things 4.
I actually love that. I really enjoyed the 2018, specifically 2018. Last year's was perfect.
I
loved it.
I loved 2018 Stranger Things. I love that maze. It was good.
It was terrible. I hated it.
Wait, which one was last year?
Well,
last year's Stranger
Things.
But they barely.
Seasons 2 and 3. Hollywood's was just bad. Hollywood's was just bad. But in my personal opinion, Orlando's season 2 was kind of but the way they handled season 3 in Orlando was golden. It was really good. It actually hit all the beats. They had a beautiful Starcourt Mall set with I think is known as one of, if not the biggest puppets they've used for Horror Nights with the Mind Flayer. Yeah, it was beautiful. I don't even know the height measurement. It was bigger than the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Hollywood. I know that. And Stay Puft was honestly one of the biggest sets I've ever seen in a Hollywood maze.
Head, wasn't it? Yeah.
It had in like the upper body, but it was still massive. Yeah, I've never seen that back area have to be framed that way before. I've never seen them use like the massive tents for that.
Framers. That your guys' job is hard as fuck. I've done it. Framing's really hard.
I guess real quick before we do move on, do you have a favorite Horror Nights house, Nick?
That I've gone through. Well, I have a few that I can't choose from that I've gone through, and I have one that I didn't get to go through in Hollywood. That would be my favorite, I think, which is Halloween 2016. that looked like an absolute masterpiece.
Oh, I loved Halloween
and
2016.
Yeah.
Especially the finale. I don't.
Right.
It's hard to think of
The Orlando
a lot of
finale
better
What was
finales
the
for a haunt than
finale?
it
that
was like
one.
the marshmallow of Michael Myers, like burnt up.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
good.
That's, like
Yeah.
Halloween 4 in Hollywood was okay, but the ending for Halloween 2016 was kind of you diving into Michael's mind, and it was a bunch of these like
It was like the
pumpkin heads
poster.
and like these dark out pumpkin heads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you walk through pumpkin. It was like
really
you were
cool.
walking through like the poster for Halloween, and they're playing this really distorted but really like angelic Mr. Sandman. I was kind of distorting and like
And
really
then,
echoing, and it
The
was
other
just such a nice
famous that I
vibe.
have to say, I'm not going to go in depth here, but Stranger Things 2018, great. Universal Monsters 2018, amazing. And Us
That was good.
from last year, I think deserves more appreciation. I thought that was so good. So good.
Oh,
there
yeah.
were literal scenes where I clapped.
Us was so good.
It was like you know that feeling if you go on Indiana Jones, you know, it's like, God damn it, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's like every scene in Us was like so coordinated.
Yeah.
I don't think I was expecting it to be as good as it was. And it was just such a badass maze that pulled off everything so perfectly. There's only one tiny little black wall section, and then the rest of it was just awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
was
There was only like one black wall scene in Us in Hollywood, wasn't
cool,
there?
I
The rest of it was
loved
full
the
sets.
actors, and the sets were great. And I don't know. I feel I'm more like enthusiastic about that one than even like Universal Monsters.
Yeah. As much as I really love Monsters, my favorite from
don't blame you.
2018 honestly had to be Poltergeist. Poltergeist in both
That's it.
Hollywood and Florida just blew me away. It was just, I mean, again, it's a Spielberg movie, so I probably should have expected it, but it's just they did it so well. They did it better. They did it better than I could have ever imagined. I like when Universal does mazes that turn out to be better than the movies. Like Krampus is a good example of that, where the maze was a lot better than the movie. As good of a movie as Krampus
Poltergeist
is,
was
yeah,
just-
I like the
was
maze
really
a lot
hoping
more.
that was going to come to the event too. Like when I first went in 2017, I was like, you know, it'd be cool, friggin' Poltergeist, and then it became a rumor, and I got super hyped, and everyone was like, no, it's not going to be scary. There's not enough material, and I couldn't think of all the material. Yeah, and I loved it.
They had
Loved it.
just enough
I can't
material to
really
make
think
it
of
work.
any- I think there were a few black wall sections that I was kind of like, okay, this is a little repetitive.
Yeah, there were the only thing that sucks is Hollywood's did have some black wall scenes, but the actual sets made up for it entirely. Like the whole ending. The ending was one of the first times where I thought a black wall scenes actually worked with the kind of feel they were going for. It felt like it really worked. I feel like it's because the music complemented that scene a lot. Because the Carol Ann theme is beautiful, but yeah, and they had all the giant skulls coming out, and that was really cool. And I think they did a good job with it, with what they had to work with, and the fact that it's a PG-rated horror film. A lot of people don't think about that or know that it's rated PG, and they made it work just fine. Yeah, that was a really good one, and I did like Stranger Things 2018.
Yeah,
I don't care what anyone says. I did like that one. Just season 1, it was cool. It was cool being able to walk in the classroom scene with 11 pushing the organ back.
They made a actress for 11, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and 20. Did 11 have an actress in Hollywood in 2019?
You're right. There wasn't an actress for 11 in Hollywood. Yeah.
There was for Florida. There was one for the beginning of the maze, and even for season 3. Season 3 actually had a actor for all of them, but I think my favorite actor, character was probably Billy. I really liked the Billy scene in Florida. Yeah, that, and obviously, I like how they made the way they pulled off Starcourt Mall was they did the fireworks scene, which that was cool. I think they did a good job with Starcourt, and even if you paid attention to the smell in Starcourt, it had that specific mall kind of ambiance and feel. Yeah, I did go through that. It really smelled like you were just walking inside of a mall, and just like that sort of feel that you get whenever you just walk into one.
Mall, like, how did it smell? Really?
exactly like it. It just feels like walking into
Oh,
just any
wow.
mall, just that sort
I
of feel
think the
that
only
you get.
mall I've been to is a main place.
Although I think it would have the only scene that I wish they used that I'm kind of sad they didn't was
Dude,
Billy's freak out in
that
the
was
sauna would
such
have
a
been
good
really
scene
good.
in the show. I loved
That's
it.
right. Forgot about that.
Dude, that got my
Yeah.
heart racing.
What would have been haunting was the scene where 11 is in like kind of the mindscape kind of thing, and she gets encountered by
Oh,
the
yeah.
mind flayer disguised as Billy, and he's doing the whole like "we'll destroy everyone you love" bit. That would have been cool to see, but I'm glad that we still got a cabin scene with the mind flayer like breaking his like the tongue things in. That had some pretty good scares, and of course they had the hospital scene, which that was a must do.
Oh, okay, never mind. I remember the hospital scene.
The reveal of the
Yeah.
mind flayer in the
Yeah,
hospital.
at that point, he
That
was
was
like
a
a
must
mini
do.
mind flayer, right?
Did you guys notice
Yeah.
that the logo for the hospital and Stranger
Yeah.
Things looks exactly like the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital logo from Halloween? Yeah, that was totally intentional.
Wait,
I feel
what?
like that was intentional. Also, quick little tidbit that I always love to talk about that nobody really does is the first episode of season 3 uses a song from Killer Clowns from Outer Space,
Yeah.
which we're gonna
Speaking
get
of-
into
Yeah,
move
yeah,
in a
on.
second.
That's a good transition.
Cue
Speaking of Killer
the
Clowns,
Yeah, we
music,
can move on. Yeah.
Killer
and
Clowns.
then we'll see that in editing.
So welcome to the what we call the Hauntcast
Yeah.
Midnight Marathon, where we talk about 3 movies each episode. We're doing one classic and 2 new movies per episode. So our
Yeah.
classic for this week is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and our 2 new movies
Yeah.
are
Probably-
Freaky and The Invisible Man.
Let's do
So which
it in
one do you guys
order.
wanna
Let's
talk
do,
about first?
Killer
Yeah.
Clowns. Dude,
Killer Clowns from Outer Space is
yo,
the plot
I'm
is
gonna
pretty
be-
self-explanatory. It's about these
I'm gonna
aliens.
be fucking honest.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hated
You
the
go
movie.
first.
It was horrible. I'm just kidding. I
okay.
fucking loved it. I'm joking. I'm fucking with
Oh,
it.
okay.
Have, like,
Oh,
this,
okay.
hot
Hot take.
discussion topic.
People,
No.
Yeah, people right now.
Yeah,
are, like,
I thought we were about to
angrily
go.
typing on their keyboard. Like you said, what?
That's a movie
I
that you can't
fucking
touch
love-
that movie. That movie's
Actually,
an
fun
artifact.
fact. My 5-year-old niece, Killer Clowns from Outer Space was her first horror movie because I want to get her into the horror
Oh, yeah.
genre, and then yeah, that was her first horror movie, and she absolutely loved it. And I was surprised. She's only 5.
It's a cute movie. It's not even really that scary.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fun. And sometimes it's kind of all you need. And if you want like disturbing stuff, well, before I go into that, I guess we'll go into the plot, which is pretty
Yeah.
self-explanatory. Like we won't go like really in depth in the plot, but we'll talk a little long story short. Pretty self-explanatory. These aliens look like clowns come down to Earth looking for a little snack while they're traveling the planet, and they go into this little town of Crescent Cove, and they're wreaking havoc. And they're turning a bunch of people into cotton candy cocoons, and they're kidnapping them, and they're using the cocoons to suck their blood out of the cotton candy, and it's just their shenanigans. Or they'll turn some people into these little popcorn pellets that become
No,
like, I guess baby clowns? I don't know if they
shoot
ever
the
got an
popcorn
official name.
pellets at
It's like these little
at
baby
people.
clowns.
and then
Sometimes
the pellets turn into the
some
clowns.
blocks get knocked off.
Yeah, well, also don't forget this.
Some knocks
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
What
well,
are you
don't
gonna
forget.
do,
Some knocks
knock
get
my block off?
Some knocks get blocked off. And some blocks. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. But no, there's the scene where Slim, I think it's Slim, is doing
Oh yeah.
the shadow puppets, and he does the dinosaur thing where he actually eats them. But then if you look in his hands, he's putting them into the
really?
bag, and they're a bunch of little popcorn pieces.
Huh, I didn't
So he
know
does
that.
turn some humans into popcorn. Yeah, and then obviously the scene that everybody knows is where Shorty rides up in the bike and they destroy his bike, and then he punches the guy's head off when he asks, "What are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
and
Knock my block
Boom.
off?" And that's what he
Knockout.
does. That's iconic. It's just,
Mhm.
it's again,
That's
it's
what's
not
great about
scary at
those-
all,
those
but it's just a fun
low-budget horror
movie.
Movies is low budget horror.
And
They're
The-
creative.
yeah, and shout out to the
yeah.
composer John
Who is
Massari,
very
because
active.
that movie is an
Especially,
amazing soundtrack. Oh, he's a really
Unfrozen.
open guy. I love him. I'd love
Maybe
to
in
have
the
him on the show
future.
sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. That's like one of those few like movies where I
Oh,
love
yeah.
every single song from the soundtrack, because I usually always have like 1 or 2 songs where I'm kind of like on, but that one I love. Like
Mhm.
every song is really good, especially because recently, or not, I guess not really recently. It got
Oh,
a
really?
remaster album where they remastered
Oh,
the
wow.
soundtrack.
When did they
with
do
the live
that?
orchestra, and it sounds really good. Is it? I want to say 2015. I
Oh,
could be wrong.
shit.
I think like 2015, 2014. Yeah, that's a good
That's
album. They remastered every song from the movie. Even the main theme by the Dickies. They got the
Nice.
Dickies to
I
reprise
gotta
the
start
theme.
listening to the Dickies.
Yeah, they're a good band. So yeah, that's our. What would you guys say out of 10? What would you give it out of
I'm
10?
the same.
100.
I would give it a 1.
100 out of 10. Yeah.
I would give it
1
a
out of 1.
Well, okay. Here's the thing.
What would you?
I currently
1 out of
am
1.
going to film school, so I am a film critique a little bit sometimes. So
You can't go on it too hard because it was
Yeah, I know,
the
I know.
80s, right?
So I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10.
It was the 80s. You gotta keep in mind.
Yeah, I feel like that's about it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of.
I'd give it the same. I say that's a fair rating. About a 7, 7.5 or 8 out of 10.
I get like the 10 out of 10. So it's like Killer Clowns has to be a couple units down.
Yeah,
brother. I'm sorry.
something that we should talk about is there is one scene in the movie that is actually really disturbing, which is, I guess, is a spoiler. Is the Officer Mooney? He kind of, the whole movie kind of treats it like, oh, the town's playing a prank on me. Like, oh, you guys aren't good. Like, a foreshadowing line is, you can go ahead and make a dummy out of yourself, but you're not going to make a dummy out of me. And because he literally does get turned into a dummy
I never
when he
noticed
gets killed
that.
by Jumbo. And there's a scene where, that's a foreshadowing line. He's not going to make a dummy. He literally gets turned into a dummy. And Jumbo uses his body to communicate to Officer Dave, and just that line of just Mooney leaning in and saying, "Just don't worry, Dave, we only want to kill you," is genuinely kind of disturbing, and it really like changes the tone of the movie. But then it goes back to the goofy shit right away. So, but it was just cool to see kind of like a tonal shift to kind of set people in the reality of this world and what's really going on.
They remade the movie, but into an actual horror movie.
Into like an actual like full budget like.
Oh yeah, like fucking Blumhouse that shit.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool, but I do kind of want to keep it as just 80s camp.
That's what makes Star Wars so fun, is like, the stormtroopers bumping their head on the beam and stuff like that.
Dude, even though that was a mistake, it was funny.
Yeah.
Or like.
Oh yeah, I love that they kept it. And also, going back to a little bit before, Killer Clowns had a really good Horror Nights house and a really good Scare Zone. That was kind of a gem where both coasts had a really good Killer Clowns house.
Kind of on par to what.
Yeah, Hollywood's was one of the better mazes last year.
They're starting to step up their game.
Yeah, they are. Well, I mean, their game was pretty high in 2016.
They really are.
Oh, well, yeah.
And then it went down in 2017.
Yeah, but then 2017 was kind of. Then 2018, they're like, okay, we kind of messed up. Then let's make it up. And especially, it didn't really show until 2019. They're really upping the ante now.
2019 is a better year.
There were hardly any Black Walls last year, besides Pandora's Box.
Yeah,
but Pandora's Box kind of needed the Black Walls to rely on it, though. With the kind of thing they were going for, that maze really did need them. Yeah, Stranger Things. We don't talk about Hollywood Stranger Things last year. That was not good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was one of their worst.
Yeah, the rest of the.
But I guess it's fair because the rest of the houses were all really golden. Even one that I don't talk about enough, even though it was one of my favorites, is House of a Thousand Corpses. Was amazing.
Favorite, but it was so solid.
Yeah, that was one that I wasn't that hyped for, especially with Florida's lineup, and it was one of my Florida favorites and one of my Hollywood favorites. That's a movie that's very controversial and mixed, but I think they always do a good job whenever it comes to horror.
Try not to spoil it for me, because I genuinely do want to watch that movie. Yeah, I know. It's on
Netflix.
Time for it.
You guys have never seen it.
I have a bad taste in my mouth for Rob Zombie because the only movies that I've seen by him are the Halloween remakes, and I really didn't like it.
You know what's funny? Dude, you know what's fucking funny?
These are,
for the longest time, ever since I was 6 years old, I thought Rob Zombie and the guitar player from Metallica were the same person. Yeah, it was fucking funny. And then when I found out that they were, I'm like, shit.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses at first, but it grew on me over the years. I didn't like the third one, but I love the second one. The second
Well,
one
it
is
just
really
came out with the
rough.
third one.
Devil's
The
Rejects.
three
Yeah, it's a
finale rule.
trilogy, but Devil's Rejects is really, yeah. I didn't like Three from Hell, but I really like the second movie. Is amazing. It's really
Rob
rough
Zombie.
and really fucked up,
Nice.
but it's also really good.
But,
Yeah, and honestly has a much better send off than the
yeah.
third movie.
Dude,
The third movie really wasn't
what we should
needed.
Yeah, let's let's get back on track.
Yes. Well, let's go to the next one.
Any final
Yeah,
thoughts on
Clowns,
Clowns, or do you want to
great
move on?
movie.
Great movie.
Great movie, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't do a president.
Great names.
can't be
I
a good
can't do a
time.
president.
I give
What's the word? What's the word when you pretend to be someone?
Omega
Obama. What would
Yeah,
you give
impersonation.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
impersonation.
Well, breaking down the film to its core and the best pieces. Really, Killer Clowns has a true. Killer Clowns from Outer Space has a true, genuine heart in it, and I would give it an 8 out of 10. What about you, Nick? I agree, Obama. I would give it an 8 out of 10 as well.
Our next movie is
yeah.
Freaky, which actually just came out. Which, if you guys don't know, Freaky, Blumhouse has kind of found success out of making a horror twist on like
Which
kind of white girl like romp comedy stuff like that, and putting their own
we
horror
dive
spin on
into
it. So that
let's
started
cover-
with Happy.
I have
Yeah, go
not
for
seen it, and you guys have, so I'm being filled in here on Freakies, which I saw the trailer.
Have
It
you seen
seems
the
like a
movie
very
Freaky
Yeah,
Friday?
we'll fill you in on the Freaky. Hang on, I'll get into that. Yeah, so basically, Blumhouse has been doing this thing where they'll put a horror twist on like those like white girl kind of romp movies, stuff like that. So they did it with, or like just general comedies. So they did Groundhog Day with Happy Death Day, which that did really well. Which, in my opinion, I love Happy Death Day. That's a really good movie. It's just fun. But now they're doing that again, where they did their own take on Freaky Friday with this movie, which is even in the name, Freaky. Which, the long story short, is there is this murderer who goes around killing a bunch of kids from this specific high school. And
what is
when he's
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah, Vince Vaughn. He's played Vince Vaughn. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, the different Vincent.
He's played by Vince Vaughn. Yeah, and when he's after he does a bunch of kills on this one this fancy house with a bunch of artifacts from your average open. They pull a Scream and they have an opening stinger of Wednesday. It's called Wednesday the 11th or something like that.
Justin thought it was
and it's a beginning stinger.
Was it like a movie? Yeah.
I thought they were pulling a Scream where it's a different movie inside a movie.
Yeah,
because that's what they made it feel like. But then no, they were just giving the dates. But anyway, so then he finds this mysterious knife that he takes, and then the main character, who honestly I blank on her name already, she, after a football game where she's the mascot for their homecoming game, she's waiting to get a ride home where she starts getting chased and attacked by this guy who tackles her on the field and stabs her with this knife. But instead of killing her, she survives, but their souls actually switch bodies. So now the killer is inside the girl, and the girl is inside of his body, and so it's just them switching places. And she's got to try to get her body back.
Yeah.
In is it 24 hours? I think 24 hours, or else she's stuck in that body forever, pretty much. So they're trying to
funny
hunt.
Story about
hunt her
that
down.
movie. Because me, Justin, and our friend Anthony went to go see it in theaters, and at some point Justin had to leave for the bathroom, and Anthony decided to throw a water bottle at Justin. It totally missed, because Justin's already almost out the door, and Anthony throws the water bottle.
I already was at the door when you threw it. You guys,
funny because
your guys' timing was way too off. I was already
Justin's
past
in the
that.
bathroom, but the security guard comes into the theater.
Oh my god,
dude! Everybody saw that bottle.
Yeah, I was like, I could have picked up. I was like, I could have picked this up,
dude,
but I thought it'd be better to just let you guys
later.
sit in it.
When I was leaving to the bathroom, I was gonna pick it up, but the security guard was there. So then I had to wait to come back. It was funny as fuck.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no. Your guys'
Yeah, I
timing
wish I
was
was
way
there
too
for
off.
that.
I was already like opening
Dude,
the door when I
everybody
just
saw
heard it
that
slam
ball.
down.
I swear, everybody in the theater saw it.
Just in
Yeah.
the middle of the movie, you threw a water bottle.
Dude, we
Good
couldn't
times.
stop laughing. Like,
That reminds me.
dude, me
That
and
reminds me of this
Pretty
one
much,
story.
yeah.
This has nothing to do with this at all. But my friend Danny and I, when the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid came out, we were really like making jokes about the movie at the time and like making
Oh,
making
yeah.
fun of the quotes from it because really the writing is not good. Like dialogue wise, it's totally not relatable at all. They tried to relate to kids and it's clearly adults, but so
Oh, the new one?
my friend Danny, we finished watching the movie and we're laughing the entire thing because we have a theater all to ourselves. We're the only people in the entire theater, so we're screaming the entire time, having a ton of fun. We start chanting "A Wimp Will Rise" as the 20th Century Fox logo comes on.
Oh my god.
And then my friend Danny, so at the end of the movie, we stretch and we go, "Oh!" like as we stretch. And my friend Danny. Oh Jesus! This was not me, by the way. I was not prepared for. I was trying to be as content.
It was Danny. It was Danny. Not
He
Nick.
had a soda cup, and it was like a big soda cup, and he
It was
slams it on the
Oh,
ground,
no.
and then we bolt out of the theater. And then the
Oh
whole
my
time
god!
after
I wish
we
I
ran
could
out
do
of the
that.
theater suspiciously run
Oh
out of
my
it,
god.
I think about the poor person that had to clean it up to the Diary of a Wimpy Kid music.
Oh,
Just like
they
with
probably
a
had
towel,
to. They probably had to clean
Oh
that
no.
in like a super silent theater.
just this single cup in the middle of the theater.
This is a PSA.
All
Don't
the
be like
rest of
a.
the seats are
Oh,
empty. but this one group
Oh my
that was clearly here alone.
Oh
with
my
all
god.
Popcorn around it, and this giant soda cup spilled out, and the Diary of a Wimpy Kid music is playing in the background as they have to clean it for their below minimum wage job of cleaning.
Oh
a
my
movie
god! They
theater.
probably get paid under the table.
I don't get paid.
Don't be
I do too.
like
Oh
us.
yeah.
I promise I
Ju-
follow
Justin had
proper
nothing to
theater
do with
etiquette.
ours.
Being loud, but
It
we
was
had the
all
theater to
Anthony.
ourselves, and it was, But I did not throw the soda cup down. Just make it. Anyway, back to Freaky. You guys get. I had to tell that there's two similar.
Oh yeah.
Was it good?
Oh yeah.
It's not really much to talk about. It was just a fun movie. Not that much. Oh, it's very good. I loved it. Not that much that was like memorable or iconic. Besides, probably there's a set that I really liked that made me think like, oh, this has to be a Horror Nights
Oh
house.
yeah.
Was like that, like black light, like they're like trying to chase her down, and like
I only
so like
saw
some like black
part
light,
of
like
that
looks like a
one.
mini golf kind of set. I forgot if it's just like a little haunt thing, or if it was a haunt, or if it was just like a
don't
little
know.
like it was like glow in the dark black light mini golf sets. But as soon as I saw that set and that
Oh.
scene, I was like, this has to be a
Maybe
Horror
that
Nights
could be
house,
the-
or at the
you
very
know,
least,
Billie Eilish
part of
house.
Horrors of Blumhouse Volume 3.
You know what?
That could be the replacement for Billie Eilish. It's successful,
Yeah.
so it's not like it's like a movie that they're just gonna can, and it
Dude,
has
you
really
know
good
who
maze
has
potential.
really
I can
good,
honestly see it replacing
like a
it.
really cool glow in the dark mini golf thing. Great Wolf Lodge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will. You know, something that we'll see on our trip is
Yeah, they do.
that we can
Oh
do.
really?
Universal Florida has one too at the City Walk.
Yeah, I just see it on
Nice.
the ramp.
Are there any
Yeah, they do.
videos
It's
on
actually
it?
really cool. I like it.
I haven't seen what was the third one? The Invisible Man. Yeah, I didn't see it.
The next movie is The Invisible Man, but the new one.
I've
the remake.
seen the first
I
35
think.
minutes, and
Am I the only one here
really
that
wanna
actually
get
saw it?
Yeah.
back to watching it after this because I'm very hooked. It's pretty good.
It is such a good movie. Yeah, it's. Although if you guys haven't seen it, like anybody listening hasn't seen it and they're going to see it, we should
Yeah,
probably give a trigger warning because it is a
Trigger
very
warning
intense
for
movie.
physical
Like a
abuse.
lot of
Yeah.
it's a
a very
domestic
light-
abuse.
very
It's
light
a domestic
story.
abuse story, and it's a lot of shit to unpack. But it's a really.
Oh,
But I could probably call it a masterpiece. It is a beautiful movie, and and it even works out for me because my favorite Universal monster is the Invisible Man.
That's the
Because my
old
favorite
Invisible
actor is
Man,
Claude
right?
Rain. That's a fun fact about me.
I think
Yeah, the
really?
classic Invisible Man.
I think my
He's also in
fav-
Casablanca.
what?
I was just gonna say, who does he play?
Oh.
But if you guys, I'll look it up.
Wait, what?
I thought that was
yeah,
pretty
look it
cool.
up. And I think he's actually the main character.
Oh.
Or no, yeah, no, sorry, I haven't seen Casablanca in so long.
Dude,
but all I
I'm
remember
not gonna say
he
where,
is
so
he is
someone
in the
else
cast.
shouldn't
I know
buy
he's
it.
in the cast,
But
but
Justin, you
yeah.
gotta get that suitcase before it's too late.
Oh yeah, for sure. But anyways, basically, long story short, the Invisible Man is a girl is in really abusive domestic relationship with a scientist, escapes, and she actually like gets away this time. But then conveniently after she escapes and she's like away from him, she finds out that he's quote unquote dead, and she doesn't believe it. Like she doesn't buy it at all because I could be yeah, no, she just doesn't. She just thinks it's BS by the way that
Yeah.
it's all playing out. It seems a little too perfect. But then, like, very minor details start happening in her life, like things move around and stuff like that. And then eventually she starts getting attacked by this figure. And turns out that before he quote unquote dies, he made a suit out of a bunch of these little cameras that
By the
basically
way,
record the surroundings
From what I've
and makes
seen
his body
about
completely
Not even like
invisible.
a blurry
Like
thing.
he can't be seen at all. Not even like well, there are ways that he can be seen. Like
Did you
there's
guys
the whole
notice
reveal that
Yeah.
he's really
that
there
the suit
is she throws a
looks
bucket of paint
exactly
on him.
like the computer wallpapers in his house? Yeah, I love that.
Wait, what? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I noticed that was a little
see it yet.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, you'll
Huh.
notice it when you watch it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Oh, what do I watch it on?
but then I won't since you guys both haven't
HBO.
seen it. I
I'm
won't go
watching
into
it right now.
spoilers. And I think is it HBO Max or is it Netflix that has it? Yeah, HBO Max has it. I won't go into spoilers this time because both of you guys haven't seen it. So I say that one. That is
yeah,
a
you
clean
guys
crisp 10.
Freaky
Oh, by
was
the
a
way,
10 out of
we didn't
10.
do our ratings for Freaky.
Especially spoilers for Freaky,
Yeah,
but
Freaky's an
they
easy
made
like
it think
9.5
like
out of 10 for me.
you know, the killer, because obviously the killer and the girl switch back bodies, and the girl's sister's a cop and
Yeah.
she shoots him, and so you know, it makes you think like, oh, he's dead because he's driving away in a hospital, or
Yeah. Oh, I like. Speaking of which, I love the delivery of that line, or the execution of that line. As soon as they realize that he's back,
because like
just without hesitation, just to shoot that
yeah, because it
motherfucker.
makes you think like, oh,
It just didn't even bat an eye.
There's
It was
going to be a
great.
sequel because he's in the back of an ambulance, and it's like, oh, is he dead? But then it's like the thing that marks his the heart monitor. It follows. Yeah, he takes it off his finger, but then the movie still continues.
Oh yeah, I like that they have a fake out where they make you like, oh, sequel, and then nope, they just end the story there.
Yeah, because like Blumhouse
like a final
movies,
attack in the house,
makes
and then
you
they
think,
kill
like,
him for real.
Oh, you know, it's gonna be like a shitty sequel, but no, it's either a really good sequel or it continues the movie.
Yeah, a good sequel is again going back to this movie. Happy Death Day 2 was a really good sequel. It was more of a comedy than a horror film this time around, but it was still really good. It took itself much less. It took itself much less seriously, and I think that was a good approach to take with it.
Yeah. What other Blumhouse?
Yeah, they've been on a roll lately, dude. I think there was.
I didn't see that. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, Insidious is good. I think they did Fantasy Island. Was that them?
What's up?
I think Fantasy Island was them. I haven't seen that one, so I have no idea what that's about.
Awesome, loved it.
Really?
Obviously, they did Halloween 2018, which is a fucking masterpiece too.
Which one was the shitty one? Like made in 2008?
That movie's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was bad.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Well, I'll give him a
that spawned Nick's grudge against Rob Zombie.
I know a lot of haunt people love him. A lot of haunt.
Dude,
yeah, give him a second chance with the Firefly trilogy.
Don't worry. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure
he's a good guy. Just some of his directing opinions are really different.
Yeah.
Like some of his direction. So like the second House of a Thousand Corpses pretty much has like a borderline rape scene, which is really rough to get through. but
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
very hard down to earth, like with his horror.
Okay. Yeah. So he goes
He's
for like a
very
more like
very traumatizing
realistic
kind of
horror,
horror.
right?
That's just his thing.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
that's
yes.
the Invisible Man, right?
Yeah. Well, my rating. I know you guys can't really rate it until you guys see it, but my rating is really a perfect 10 out of 10 for Invisible Man.
Well, from
It
what
did
I've
everything
seen,
right, but I won't go into spoilers because you guys haven't seen it. So,
Invisible
any
Man,
final
10
thoughts
out
on
of
any
10
of
because
these
it
three
seems
movies
really
or any
good.
other movies
Even though I
before?
haven't
I'm
seen it.
35 minutes in.
I saw the trailer and I'd say that's a 10 out of
The
10.
first 35 minutes, it's so far a 10 out of 10. I really like it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a 9 out of 10, just in case. Just in case.
It is. It is. I love the. I love.
Oh,
I
wow.
love. At the very end of the movie, we'll make it a
I'm
10 out
loving,
of 10 for you easily.
cinematography.
It is one of the most satisfying
Yeah.
horror movie endings ever.
Very minimal. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love the how they do the title screen, how it's the waves washing over and then they form the Invisible Man like
Very
the
good
title.
acting too. Effects.
But yeah, that shit's genius. Okay, so that's about it for this episode. We kind of covered everything we wanted to for our little beginner pilot.
I have a few
Before we
things
go,
that
is there
would take
anything
a
you
hot
guys
minute,
need to
but,
plug or want to talk about, or anything
yeah.
we
Do
missed?
you want to go first,
Go
Jimmy?
ahead.
Because I got a little bit to plug here.
No, you
Go
can
for
go
it, man.
first.
Just go spitball.
But I might join in I might
Okay.
chime in to
Well,
agree
I
with
have a
you.
few things. I'll try to go in order. First thing,
Yeah, we'll chime in.
Yeah.
is that my brother is also working on some Halloween-based, haunt-based, horror-based kind of social media type
haunt-based.
thing, and it's called Halloween Stream.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about it right now, but I love my broham, and I thought I should mention that. The other thing. Probably the big thing that I mentioned that I would be plugging is that I was lucky enough to get a few-hour interview with Tony Baxter, legendary Disney Imagineer, at his house, and able to have dinner with him as well. And I will be.
Oh
Lucky
wow!
you.
We know his neighbors, and I can't say too much. And I know some stuff.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
What's his address? I'm just kidding.
So
we love you, Tony.
I have to make some cuts for a school project that has to be like under 5 minutes and stuff. So I have to finish doing those, but after that, I'm going to be going to the editing room and making like a full hour-long cut about Tony Baxter, and I asked some questions that which he allowed that will that many people haven't thought of asking, that are a little bit more personal, not like depressing or weird, but more about him and less about what was your favorite ride that you did. Did you like the Indiana Jones ride the most that you did? That kind of thing.
The most that you did.
And to work on Splash.
Well, didn't he come out of retirement recently to work on The Princess and the Frog ride?
But
yeah,
I'm just gonna say, the way that he's involved, I'm very much looking forward to it, and
I'm excited.
They like to do their own. That was a fork that just dropped. They like to do their own marketing and stuff. And I agree with Tony there. I'm going to leave it to Disney to do the marketing. So I'm not going to say anything other than that. Other than I'm very excited. And the other thing that I wanted to plug was well, I have yet to announce it officially on In the Parks, but I'm starting a new kind of passion project for my YouTube series, among a few other different series that I'm working on. The one that means the most to me, I'm starting a kind of new theme park design series where my really uneducated in art ability shines through, and I design different theme park ideas, starting with what I'm working on right now, a Tomorrowland refurbishment, and I will be making concept art and not just putting B-roll of Tomorrowland over saying what I would like to do. No, I'm going like in depth and doing like a budget version and like a non-budget version, and that should come out after the Tony Baxter documentary. So yeah, that's I'm pretty busy right now if you can't tell, but I'm glad I was able to take the time for this first episode, my boys.
Yeah.
Well.
And dude, I just want to This is gonna be a shitty plug,
And
but I want to
anything
plug
you
my
got,
meme
Bimmy?
page on Instagram and Twitter because Instagram it's fucking up for me right
Oh
now.
my god.
So I might be moving to Twitter. Bimmy_baby, all one word.
I'll search it up after this. I don't follow it.
Mhm.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then all I got is
Dude,
just keep
this
tuning
one
into
was
our
fucking
episodes if
great.
you like this
I've always
first one. I
wanted to
promise
join a
they're gonna get
podcast,
better.
and I love it.
We're just kind of finding our bearings right now. Yeah, but we are going to be opening up a Patreon soon,
It's this
as well
one.
as probably a merch store either on Redbubble or Shark Robot. I'm still trying to work that out, but yeah, we'll be selling some merch. And then follow our social media. Or we have an Instagram page that's just the.monster.cast if you want to follow that. And then I'm trying to release this podcast on however many platforms we can. So
Darn right. There.
Can I close
kind of
it?
work from there and just stay tuned.
Yeah, you can.
And we'll also be releasing these on
Super easy.
YouTube and SoundCloud.
Good night, everybody.